Rose here. Hi everyone. Welcome in to my January wrap-up and also probably a rare TBR for me. In January, I read 2 books. To be fair, I finished one book from a long time ago. Want to guess which one that is? Just wait for it. And then after that, I read a whole book after. I already said that. Yeah. I also have a fanfiction story that I would like to share with you. So really in total, I have 3 stories to share with you. Yay! Okay, so I will first talk about the books, then about the charming fanfiction story, and then I will talk about my TBR for February. Guys, it's already the 2nd month of this year. Okay, let's get into it, shall we? I did it. I did it, y'all. I finished Dracula. But because I am so ready to move on with my life, if you wish to hear, I guess, most of my review on this book, then you can check out my 2019 wrap-up. I will link here and in the description box below. Other than that, I do have 3 brief points slash observations to make about this book. 1, I am eternally grateful that there were few scenes with people that had very thick Scottish or Cockney accents. I mean no disrespect or offense to people with these kind of accents, but holy shit, it does not negate the fact that they were really hard to understand. I do wish that I still had the book on me just so I can read you a passage for you to understand the struggle that I went through. But that book is finally back at the library where it belongs, and other human beings can probably read that book at a more reasonable pace. Number 2, if you're not comfortable with religious elements, just be aware that this book does have a heavy religious tie to it. Dracula and the other undead beings are hellspawn, essentially. I mean, fair, but that's the reason for the religious ties. It didn't really bother me, but just, yeah, I'm putting that out there. 3rd and final thing, I stand by recommending this book. And I would rate this book, I would say a solid 3.7 stars out of 5. Awesome! Now that is finally, officially out of my body and soul, we can all move on now. Superb. The next book I read in January, and the final book that I read in January, but that's fine, is Star Wars Thrawn by Timothy Zahn. It is a sci-fi novel, by the way. Oh, and Dracula is a gothic horror novel. Forgot to mention that. Anywho's, so Star Wars. I just did a vlog reading video / review on this particular book, so I won't get into it too much here. If you want to check that out, you can click up here, or I will leave a link in the description box below. As you may imagine, this book is about Thrawn and his rise to power. The story takes place between Revenge of the Sith and The Force Awakens, to be specific. There are 3 point of views in this story, one of course being Thrawn, one would hope so, and the other 2 characters are, in the end, I didn't particularly care about them. Those characters are, 1, it was Eli Vanto, who was sort of an aide to Thrawn throughout the book. I didn't mind reading from his point of view, but throughout the book, I just generally felt from start to finish kind of indifferent towards him. The other main character, the 3rd main character, is a lady named Arinda Price, who craves power. It was more so the idea of her story that was at least vaguely interesting to me, more so than her specifically as a character. I could tell that she was written to be sympathetic to an extent, because, after all, she is in support of the Empire and she thinks that they can really do no wrong, and that state of mind never changes, which that's a yikes. So, I would say that character development was probably the weakest aspect about this book. Overall, I still enjoyed it, and I would recommend reading it to Star Wars fans specifically. I mentioned this in my vlog. If you are not familiar with Star Wars, you will be hella lost in this book, so keep that in mind. Also, in my reading vlog, I gave this book a 3 out of 5 star rating, and I currently still hold to that. Yeah, That's all I have to say on that one. So before I jump into the charming fanfic, if you're more interested in just hearing about my February TBR, that's totally cool. Here will be the timestamp that you can just jump ahead to. But if you are sticking around to learn about a new and awesome fanfiction, well, thank you. I also think this may very well become a permanent segment, I think is what you would call it, in my monthly wrap-ups, just at least at the very end, talking about fanfiction that I enjoyed. So the story is called A Point to Happiness, and it was written by I'd Rather Have You. Links down below as well if you want to check it out. How much do I adore this story? Well, I have read it probably a solid 5 times over. That's how much I love this story. It is also 61,000 words, just so you know. So this story does fall under the fandom of the Captive Prince series. Now that trilogy, it's rather heavy in its content, so I completely understand if that is not for everyone. In any case, A Point to Happiness. It takes place in an AU, an alternate universe. So our characters are in this story, they are in our modern world, and they are just trying to live their best life. A good portion of the story is told through texts, which I imagine is a difficult thing to do because you have to convey so much with so few words. Yeah, our leading fellows, Damon and Laurent, they first and foremost connect through texting and things just blossom from there. Guys, it's legit a texting the wrong number meet cute. Only in fanfiction. Am I right? It's the beauty of fanfiction, okay? I absolutely adore Damon in this story. He is the living embodiment of a golden retriever. Laurent is, as always, he's intelligent, he's witty, he's snarky, he is secretly and sometimes not so secretly a giant marshmallow on the inside. Nikase has a big role in this as well, and he is just generally long-suffering of the adults. I can speak correctly. He is generally long-suffering of the adults that surround him, but really he wouldn't have it any other way. And Nikandros, he may be at his peak sassiness in this story, and I am here for it. So this story is almost entirely fluff, which, yes please, and thank you. If you decide to check out this story, I also recommend that you check out the other stories that this author has written in this fandom. You're welcome. Yeah, that's all for the fanfiction, so let's get into my February TBR. Now, February is Black History Month here in the US, so I think like many other booktubers in years past, I want to celebrate that by reading books specifically from Black authors throughout the entire month. And here are the 5 books that I hope to read in this month, in no particular order. And I just picked this up from the library today. Born a Crime, a memoir by Trevor Noah. Now, I've wanted to read this for a while, and I'm finally freaking going to do it. I've been watching Trevor Noah on The Daily Show, and he is just such an intelligent, warm human being. He's very witty, he's funny. He started out as a comedian, and now he works as a satire journalism. There we go. That's all I really have to say about that, because I'll get more into it in the wrap-up. Let's move on. And the only other book that I currently have on hand is Check Please, Year 3 by Ngozi Ukazu. This is a comic, by the way. Now, this is going to be a reread, but there ain't no rules that I can see that I am not allowed to reread a book at any point in time, really, because I absolutely love it, so that's what I'm gonna do. Anywho's, Year 3, in short, it is about the pressure of keeping secrets, coming out of the closet more than once, graduation, and just big things happening in professional hockey. Good stuff. I just love that comic so much. The third book is The Deep, a sci-fi fairy tale by Rivers Solomon. In short, it is about Black mermaids who are descendants from pregnant African women that were thrown overboard by slave owners. That's some heavy stuff. Next on the list is a book called Lot, which is a fictional coming-of-age story written by Brian Washington. Now, this story follows a young mixed boy who has a Black mother and a Latino father, who seems to be struggling just to probably live his best life, and also discovering that he likes boys. So it's a coming-of-age LGBTQ story, and yes, please. and thank you. And the final book I hope to be able to read is Dear Martin, a YA coming-of-age story by Nick Stone. This story follows a teenager named Justice McAllister who is on his way up in an Ivy League school and has moved away from a rougher neighborhood, and he is facing racism and just prevalent prejudice against him, particularly from white police officers, and he is looking to the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for some answers. I look forward to reading that. So that will be 4 books in total, 1 comic. 3 of those are written by women and 2 are male authors, so not bad. I think a pretty good balance. That is it. If you have a TBR for February, let me know what you plan on reading in the comments below. Also, if you've read any of the stories that I've mentioned in this video, have you read them? What did you think about them? Let's chat about that in the comments as well. That is all I have for you today. Thank you all very much for watching as always. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! Not to reveal my dirty little secrets or anything, but who else only wears hats because 1, it's just a bad hair day, or 2, it's hair wash day, but you still have to interact with other human beings, so thus the hat? Those are really the only 2 reasons for me that I wear hats. There's really no in between. Does anyone else do this? Don't lie. This is a safe space. No judgment here.